Just hours after hosting a major event at Buckingham Palace, Prince William disappeared from London. No formal announcement. No press convoy. No crowds. Instead, a quiet departure north to a place where cameras rarely follow, but where one of the most significant royal initiatives of 2025 was quietly taking shape. While the royal diary officially closed with his appearance beside Princess Catherine in the capital, William boarded a private train and headed to Leith, a historic port district in Edinburgh. The purpose? Not a state visit or diplomatic gala, but something more raw, more real. A surprise engagement tied not to ribbon cutting, but to crisis response. Behind the heavy stone walls of Leith Community Centre, something profound was happening. And the future king wanted to see it for himself. Leith is not a palace, but in its own way, it holds the heart of a different kingdom, one where football isn't just a game, but a lifeline. And that's precisely why William was there. His visit, unannounced and strategic, revolved around a groundbreaking partnership between the Royal Foundation and Street Soccer Scotland, a pioneering social enterprise using the universal language of sport to pull people back from the brink: homeless adults, at-risk youth, those who've slipped through society's cracks. The collaboration, named Leith United, is more than a project. It's a lifeboat. Backed by dedicated funding from the Royal Foundation's Community Impact Programme, this initiative is breathing life into the once dormant Leith Community Centre. What was once a neglected space is now becoming a dynamic hub for inclusion, mental wellness, and rehabilitation, anchored around something as deceptively simple as a football. For Prince William, this wasn't just charity. It was personal. Long known for his deep-rooted love of the sport, he serves as president of the Football Association and is a devoted Aston Villa supporter. William has spent years pushing for football to be more than weekend entertainment. To him, the pitch is a place of healing, of belonging, a sanctuary where rules, roles, and respect are taught not with lectures, but through lived experience. And nowhere is that philosophy more vividly realized than in Leith. Kensington Palace later issued a statement confirming the visit, framing it in sharp, purposeful terms. At Leith Community Centre, it read, "The beautiful game is being used to tackle some of society's toughest challenges." A simple sentence. But behind it lies a profound strategic vision. Street Soccer Scotland, led by its founder David Duke, a man once homeless himself, is rewriting the playbook for community rehabilitation. The program doesn't just offer football matches. It builds confidence, teaches discipline, fosters community, and provides pathways out of isolation, addiction, and despair. William's meeting with Duke was described as intensely focused. The prince asked direct questions about funding allocation, long-term sustainability, and how success is measured. He wasn't there to smile for cameras. He was there to listen and to learn. The funding from the Royal Foundation is not just generous, it's strategic. It ensures continuity. Staff salaries, equipment, mental health specialists, mentorship programs, these aren't flashy expenses, but they're what keeps the engine running. In a region still healing from years of economic stagnation, that kind of stability is rare. And it's priceless. During the visit, William was filmed kicking a ball around with program participants. The footage, shared later by royal correspondents, showed the prince in a dark suit, tie slightly loosened, grinning as he passed and pivoted across the pitch. It was spontaneous. And powerful. He didn't just visit. He played. That detail matters. Because in that moment, with his polished shoes slipping on damp turf, William wasn't the heir to the throne. He was a teammate. A man meeting others where they were, in humility, in camaraderie, in purpose. The symbolism was subtle but unmistakable, a future king not standing above the people, but moving among them. And that, royal analysts say, is part of a much bigger shift. Under King Charles III, the monarchy has quietly begun redefining what it means to serve. No longer confined to balcony waves and state dinners, the crown is reaching into the real trenches of British life: child poverty, youth violence, homelessness, and using its platform to amplify, accelerate, and sustain social recovery. William and Catherine's vision for their foundation has increasingly centered on this ethos of community goals. Not as a buzzword, but as a blueprint. Rather than spreading funding thin across dozens of national projects, They're zeroing in on high-impact, deeply local initiatives. Leith is one of the first. It won't be the last. The initiative is designed as a social enterprise, a model that doesn't just rely on donations but creates self-sustaining revenue through merchandise, local sponsorships, and community partnerships. Every pound reinvested. Every program built to last. No royal branding, no top-down charity. Just support where it's needed. And it's working. One young participant, interviewed anonymously for privacy, said simply, "I came here thinking football was the only thing I was good at. Now I know I'm more than that. I belong somewhere." That word, belong, echoes across every layer of this story. In a divided world, in a country struggling with inequality, that's not just sentiment. It's mission. Prince William's swift appearance in Leith, especially following a major event in London, was designed to send a message. The royal family is not above the nation's problems. It's inside them. Watching. Acting. Investing. It also reflects William's increasingly hands-on approach to leadership. Gone are the days of passive patronage. The prince now conducts deep-dive briefings before every visit, asks for performance metrics, and follows up months later to measure outcomes. As one Royal Foundation staffer noted privately, he doesn't just lend his name. He lends his time. And he keeps receipts. This approach has started reshaping royal engagement itself. Rather than ceremonial cuttings of ribbons, we see strategic interventions. Focused funding. Real results. And it's not just him. Princess Catherine, fresh from her own recovery and return to public life, is also leaning into this model. Her early years initiative has become a national standard setter. Together, William and Catherine are redefining royal charity not as patronage, but as partnership. Public reception has been overwhelmingly positive. Coverage of the Leith visit drew praise across social media platforms, particularly among younger Britons, many of whom expressed admiration for the low-key, high-impact nature of the work. A growing number of voices now suggest that this community monarchy model could define the reign of King William V, focused less on imperial ceremony and more on modern service. And that brings us to what lies ahead. Leith is the beginning of a wider Royal Foundation expansion into underserved urban areas across the UK. Plans are already being developed for similar partnerships in Liverpool, Birmingham, and Cardiff, each modelled around local needs, with community centres acting as the nexus of sport, mental health, and social inclusion. The question is no longer whether this approach works. It's how far it can go. As the monarchy adapts to a new era, pressured by shifting public sentiment and rising demands for relevance, initiatives like Leith United offer a powerful response, one that is authentic, replicable, and above all, human. And at the centre of it all stands William. Not with a sceptre, but with a football at his feet, listening to stories that rarely make the front page. Responding with action that rarely makes headlines. But make no mistake. This is monarchy. Evolved. In our next report, we'll uncover how these grassroots initiatives are quietly influencing royal protocol and why a seemingly informal game of football in a port town may mark the beginning of Prince William's most ambitious legacy yet. Stay with us.